Hey there, guys. This is Real Guardian. It's great to be back. Viewer discretion is advised, but that's what the yandere is. It's a given. So far, my new job is pretty good. I can't say anything because of privacy disclosure agreement, which is annoying. But other than that, I'm doing good on that field. Thank you to the new Patreon supporter. Remember, if you want to support the channel, do go to Patreon or go to fund $1 to my mom's funeral costs because even with the job, I need help with that because I don't have the money to cover it still. And finally, my scheduling will be changed once a month. I'm sorry, I don't think I can get out a video without it being at least once a month due to the fact of how my job is going to be working out for me. I'm really sorry about that, guys. Finally, if you want to know what will be coming out next month, stay to the end. You'll find out what the 1.5 subscriber special is. That being said, let's finally get started on a what if that is long overdue in my opinion. What Belle had a yandere harem, part 1. Three figures are walking through a forest area, two of them being young girls and somewhat pissed off, both saying in unison, Goddess Artemis, why are we even in this forest? Artemis laughed at it, then responded simple. There's apparently a very strong child that lives here. He's been living here for over 2 years. It seems only one person ever visits this child to make sure they're still alive, which I find is quite strange, but interesting. Don't you agree? They both just went, ugh. They did not want to be in this forest right now. Artemis just kept going with her usual happy peppy self, finally stopping and saying, Oh, it seems we're finally here. If the coordinates are right. They walk into a clearing, seeing a nearby cave. It has a small tent next to it. Walking up to see the tent was empty, the cave as well. But Artemis, being years and years of her being a huntress, noticed something immediately with the fire, saying, Get on your guard. It's warm, meaning the child must have sensed us or is still nearby. The two young girls get at each other's back and talk, saying to each other, Harime, I got your back. You got mine? With her response says, Yes, Ashia, quickly readying their weapons. But the dead quiet air was a maddening sound, as it turned even more maddening to them because it was silence. And them being on full guard meant any little noise would creep up on them, would startle them. And they were not able to sense anything. That was weird. Finally, rustling could be heard as trees and bushes were being dove and walked through. Crushing of tree branches, every possible noise you could think of. Artemis, having enough of it, started firing arrows at those nearby places. Nothing happened. Though finally, at one point, it all stops. The group sees black eyes through a small opening between a group of bushes and trees. Artemis, taking her chance, fires an arrow at it, but misses because the eyes disappear just as quick as they were there. Artemis at this point had been incredibly impressed by this child. She even smiled beautifully, saying out loud, I think we found a keeper. As the girls just groaned on her, confirming their own thoughts on the matter. Since to them, how can someone without a blessing hide from a level 2 so easily? Still in the ready positions, as small rocks were thrown at them, with Aisha using her sword to cut some of them in half, with her staff, Harahime was spinning and knocking all the rocks away from them. As the surrounding bushes and trees rustle once more, with these black eyes appearing, eerily staring at them. But as they slowly start to turn red, blood red, as things you would call tomes appeared in the eyes. All of a sudden, the being behind the bushes bolted forward at an insane speed, revealing a small boy. It was at a speed that even a high-level adventurer would have difficulty keeping up with. As his white and black hair started to turn silver, Artemis was sensing, in her own opinion, a great change in power already from the boy, and decided she had to go all out, firing about 5 arrows at the boy. But he dodges them all, effortlessly, as he keeps moving forward at an even faster and faster rate until finally he just quickly jumps over Artemis and lands between Haruhime and Ashia as they turn to face him, trying to hit him, but their weapons just clash, with each of them staring at each other, realizing the boy wasn't even there anymore. It was curious, peculiar even. Using that moment of confusion, the young boy quickly reappears in front of him, quickly jabbing both of them with his fist. As he strikes both of them hard enough that even their level 2 power gap can't do anything. It quickly shocked both Artemis and them because he has got to either be a high level of one or have enough innate skills to back himself up. After that, he quickly dodged when they realized they got the wind back in their sails. But just like before, he was gone the moment they tried to strike. Having enough of this, Artemis and Aisha charged at him together as if this would make it easier for them, but he was still dodging them effortlessly like nothing was happening. Haruhime, just finally deciding she needed to level the playing field with the boy, started to chant magic, saying, "Oh, my heart of my heart, may these flames burn all that stand in my way." And she created a fire blast, ironically in the shape of a heart. But as it launched forward, the boy just took one look at the spell and made an exact same copy, causing both of them to cancel each other out when they hit. The boy disappeared behind the flames and the smoke, only to reappear in front of Haruhime, kicking her in the gut. The boy then grabbed Aisha's sword that was swinged at him just as he did the motion, quickly kicking her back as well, making her extremely mad. She then started to charge at him, the young boy just simply dodging and weaving again around everything. It was like he could see everything before it happened. It was scary. Or even worse, is he just reacting on pure instinct? Those were the thoughts going through the two women's minds at this point. But Aisha was getting more and more frustrated. She hated it. She finally made a last ditch effort with an attack, putting all her power and speed, everything into it. But the boy just quickly uses the momentum against her, kicks the swords out of her hand, catching it and then using the handle to knock her out quickly. Artemis at this point was just amazed at the boy's power. That she could even beat Zeus or Hera's low level familia members with this boy as the way he is right now. But just as she was having those thoughts, the young boy's hair turned black. Artemis, noticing this with her keen eye, quickly pulled her bow back and started firing. The boy now was barely dodging, unlike earlier. He was still fast, even for someone that didn't have a blessing. But thinking about it, Artemis came to the conclusion that hair color change must have been an innate skill he possesses. So she now wants him even more. She draws her own sword and dashes forward, forcing him into a sword fight. As they clash, trading blow for blow, as Artemis realized he has already copied both her and Ashia's sword styles and mixing them. How many innate skills does he have? She pondered as she kept clashing over and over with him. But she decided, okay, this is enough. Smiling brightly and telling him, "You've passed." In my eyes, fully. So it's time for bed, young man. As she quickly disarms the young boy before he can do anything, she kicked him straight into the gut with the most powerful kick she could. The boy just collapses. Artemis, taking a deep breath, dropping on the ground, seeing all the destruction and damage around them just for that little bit of a fight. Knowing in her heart she's going to have this boy no matter what. With some weird signs in her eyes, something flickers within them. She then decides to pick everyone up and sits them inside the cave. Now, a lot of time has passed. Not enough to be late afternoon, but early afternoon. The young boy finally wakes up to see he's been tied up. His own thoughts are, it's probably that woman and those two girls they're with. And I can hear them talking outside even right now. This is getting annoying. And he decided, well, I got nothing to do. So, why not just listen in? As he quickly crawled up close enough where he could hear their conversation. The two girls were saying together in unison again, "Yeah, he's strong, but why should we trust him at all? Just look at what he did to us. All of us." That weird fox girl spoke up, the boy. The weird fox girl the boy fought earlier spoke up, saying, "Well, we're the ones that invaded his territory, plus it was a nice, good fight. He was pretty rough, too." And she starts having a slight blush on her face when she said it. That weird tan looking woman clearly signed at this and even slapped her in the back of the head. clearly angry with her. Finally speaking her own opinion, it seems. Plus, he is a guy. I thought we had this no guy rule, ever, goddess. Then that blue haired woman. She was cool, he thought. Seems to be speaking about him as well, saying yes, he's not a man. I said man. And part of the reason you joined me was your own hatred for men from a past instant, but Asha and Harhime, just thinking that is weird. Because he's a young boy. So I say, let's just give him a chance. Plus, he's already awake and heard everything, so we might as well get his input. The whole group turns around to see the young boy staring at him, with the blue haired woman walking up to him, saying, "Why, hello there, little one. My name is Artemis, and I'm the goddess. These are two of my children that make up my familia." As she gestures to the girls, as the tan one comes forward, saying, "Introduce yourself as, my name is Ashia." And the other one with the animal ears introduced herself as Harihime, with a simple bow afterwards. Artemis took a good long look at the young boy, then finally decided to ask, "So, what's your name, kid?" As the boy was left to his thoughts for a moment, and then finally answered her question, saying simply, "I don't have a name. I've always lived in the forest. I was dropped off here, especially during full moons, but I learned to control that problem." Though weirdly enough, everyone present was giving him a puzzled look. The boy didn't understand why. Taking a sigh, he finally said, "Can I pull my pants down a bit to show you something?" With the with Ashia and Haruhime giving a slightly disgusted look, but it seems Haruhime was blushing a bit. Artemis laughed, saying, "Sure, I'm kind of curious. Why do you need to do that?" So the boy quickly pulled down his pants a little bit, even though he was still tied, showing off he had a monkey tail. The shocked looks on everyone's faces spoke for themselves. The boy finally saying, "See, during a full moon, I used to turn into a giant ape, but over the 2 years, I've learned to control it, and I can change it well if need be." Armis at this point just smiled widely like a crazy person, saying, "Okay, I'll be honest, that is the coolest thing I've ever heard, and I'm a deity. Though, let's be honest, we need to get you cleaned up first, and untie you too." See, the boy was covered in dirt and grime and forest. Ick. Artemis cut the bindings and grabbed the young boy and told the girls to stay behind, with her dragging him to a nearby small river they passed. The boy quickly stripped, and either Artemis was trying not to see anything, she did, causing her to blush a bit, realizing for a child his body is way too well toned, especially just being that young. And the boy himself being kind of embarrassed in the situation a little bit, but he cleans himself up anyways and ignoring it. While doing this, Iris decides to speak up and talk. So, asking, "Why are you in the woods?" I mean, you explained it a bit in the cave, but I wasn't really more. Do you have any more information on it? The boy responded with, "I've been here since I was 3. I have no memory of my family at all. But thanks to this nice girl in the village who comes by at times, taught me how to read, write, and speak. So I'm very grateful to her. Oh yeah, and I know I don't have a name, but you can call me Wild Child or Wild Boy. That's what I'm called when I do go to the village every once in a blue moon for supplies." With Armas giving a very angry and pissed off look, saying, "That's horrible that they do this to you. They should be shot over it." Boy thinking about it and speaking in his own mind, saying, "No, it's okay. I'd rather be on my own than dealing with people that don't understand me at all." He quickly finished up and got redressed in his dirtier clothes, but he has nothing else to wear. But Artemis just couldn't let go, saying, "But you shouldn't be okay with this at all. No one should." Sighing pretty out loud, the boy just thought about it for a moment and decided maybe this will hopefully help her out. As he starts patting Artemis's head, saying, "Thanks for that, you know. You're like those moms I would see in the village that actually care about others' well-being. So, to say this again, thank you for caring about my well-being." That he smiled at her. But the boy noticed something weird in Artemis's eyes. They now have hearts in them, and they were green? That's weird. They weren't like that before, the boy thought when he did talk to her face to face. After that, he and Artemis started walking back. They were talking about various different things as Asya drops down with a nearby tree and tries to slam her sword near the young boy's neck, but he dodges it. With her saying, "So, are you ready to die for what you did to me, lowly male?" With her licking her lips. And the boy just simply says, "Sure, why not?" Asya gives a confused look, asking why. "Are you accepting this at all, little boy?" The boy just answered back, simple. "If that would make you feel better, why not? After all, no one missed me but a small girl in the village. And in time, she'd even forget me. So, I'm okay with this anyways. If that's what my lovely mistress wants." With the boy giving a very cheeky smile to her. But you notice hearts started forming in her eyes as well. The boy's own thoughts says, why is this happening? Ashia, finally putting away her sword, saying, "You know what? You're alright for a guy." The boy saying thanks, but before they could continue, Artemis quickly started chewing her out for what she did. But once they got back, the group noticed that Haruhime was napping against the cave wall. Because of this, they slowly walked up, and Ashia tapped her head. Haruhime was startled awakened to see all of them, saying, "Oh, you're back." And she blushes like crazy as soon as the boy's eyes land on her. She doesn't know what's going on all of a sudden. Iris starts out by saying, "I say we let him join, but he's definitely going to need a name. So, what should we call him?" Now came what was called a brainstorming session. The group of women threw out various names like Kevin, Michael, Richard, Eyes, or Eins. And it kept going on for a few minutes till Haruhime saying, "How about Belle?" The boy actually smiling and flicking Haruhime on the forehead saying, "That one. I like it a lot. With my now new name, Belle," as he gave a hearty big smile from his heart. In this moment, Haruhime's eyes as well had hearts in them. With a group of women saying, "Well, it's time to head back. You're coming with us, Belle, okay?" He nodded. The newly named Belle realized seeing all these heart shapes in the eyes is too weird to be normal. Is this another one of his weird abilities? With something popping up in front of him with a pinging sound coming out of the screen, with the name Yandere Harem Survival System now active. And a description shows up saying, "You attract all types of yandere, so this system's job is to make sure you survive. One key feature currently you have allows you for a single reset if you're killed by yandere or die by another reason. This will take a full day to recharge. Currently, the yanderes you have in your system are Artemis, Aisha, and Haruhime. More info on them in the system will be ready soon. Once the system is finally finishing installing." This was weird, Bell thought, but it's best to pretend like nothing happened for now, because he doesn't want to be caught. He feels like this is going to be his secret weapon. Once they finally get back into the village, you can just see the group of villagers give the boy strange looks to hateful glares. This making the woman he's traveling with very angry, and then all of a sudden he hears something. System saying, "Warning, all yonder anger levels reaching max." But before Val could figure out what was going on, that young girl he always knew ran up to him and said, "Hey there, wild child." Belle nodded his head, then told her, "Well, these people named me Belle, so you can call me that. I finally have a name." She's saying, "Great, you finally picked a name." "Yeah, I could have picked the name you liked." Sighing about it, then responding back, "So let's go eat at my house." As this caused the anger that was already there to spike, even more in the girls accompanying the boy, especially in their faces. Bella could tell Artemis Claire was not letting it show, but she was very, very pissed off. Finally speaking up, saying, "Well, since you're the chief star, I have to talk to him about Belle." As the girl just clicks her tongue, saying, "All right, you can talk with him." Some time has passed, and they were now having a discussion about Belle, a very heated one. The chief staying his side by saying, "Well, I think it would be good for Belle to have a blessing, but he should never leave here. Without him being our outside hunter, the monsters would have overrun our village years ago. So thanks to his presence in the woods, they've been staying back. And again, I am not against him getting a blessing. It could help him immensely. I'd say it'd be better for you to come back anytime you want just to update him. The young girl popping in saying, "Yeah, that's for the best, trust us." As she clings to Belle's arms. And Belle noticed something. He didn't really notice it earlier, but the color in the hearts was changing. Now it went fully red, with another pop up warning him. Yanderes are fully triggered. Belle's only thought was, what the heck is going on right now? With Artemis finally speaking, even though clearly holding back tons of poison, venom, and anger, saying, well, yes, that seems reasonable, but Belle, could you tell me something? That seems reasonable, but Belle, sorry, could tell something was very, very wrong. He just felt it in his gut. After hearing that, the chief offered for them to stay for dinner. They all agreed, with Artemis walking out with Haruhime and Ashia. And coming back later during that time, Belle was already talking to the chief star, but to be honest, she was way too clingy for his liking. This was shortly after they finished eating dinner. It was the best meal that Belle had ever had up to this point, to be honest. By the end, Artemis made drinks and gave them to everyone. But shortly after that, everyone started having weird reactions. Belle saw the chief star froze and was collapsed with her eyes wide open, shocked. And she was still even crashing to the ground in that moment. And before even the chief could react, he started coughing out blood. Belle's sitting there trying to figure out what the heck was going wrong with them. Everyone, with a new blaring warning saying, warning, powerful sleeping and paralysis agent was ingested. Now trying to fix host's state. Belle just started to drop and drift to sleep, with Artemis catching him, patting him on the head, saying, don't worry, soon everything will be alright. Our little Belle. As Belle passes out, his last sight he saw in that moment was the chief getting stabbed multiple times by Artemis and Haruhime, and finally seeing them all tie up the young girl he knew, and he finally drifted to sleep. Artemis made sure the sleeping and paralysis agent worked on him, then quickly put Belle in the guest bedroom. Artemis walked out saying, first, Haruhime, start those fires like we planned, and make sure to send them straight into the traps, and if any survive, I'll get them with my ball. And kill them. How dare they think our Belle belongs to anyone but us? The group nodded in agreement while having a complete look of ecstasy, while licking their lips. The thought of Belle being only theirs. Once the fire was set and made sure to send the villagers towards their many traps. The scary part, the traps were wide in variety. Bear traps, arrow tripwires, trap magic bombs, etc. But as this was happening, Belle had woken up to hear the screams and cry of many people of this village, with insane laughter echoing there as well. Trying to get up but can't, with the system saying, it is almost purged drugs from host system. Please wait for you to get back into full working order. Now back to the carnage. Seeing Artemis arrow down some of the remaining people straight through the head, and as her arrows catch fire on some of them and burn them alive. As Ashia was just dicing them like vegetables, and soon after, soon after all this, what seemed to be hours but was mere moments, it finally got quiet, the sound of only the flames remaining into the night. Bell was still trying to move. Just then he heard a muffled scream. He tried to fight this, but it was a losing bout. The system saying, 1 minute remaining. With the girls retreating and having a talk with the chief star, in a grouped unison that is terrify anyone to their bones, saying together, see, Bell is only ours. You were never meant to have him. Once we kill you, he is going to praise us, love us, and be with us forever, like he should be. Then about to kill the girl, Bell heard these words. Finished purging host system of drugs and adding current resistances, paralyzation resistance, and sleeping agent resistance to host by. You now may be able to move. Bell turned on his red tome eyes as he tried to get into the room as fast as he could, but he only got there to see the young girl who had always been nice to him get stabbed through the heart by Artemis. While he was breaking down, the other girls burned and teared her apart into nothing. As his black pattern in his eyes changed into multiple different shapes and types. Well, the group turned, finally seeing Bell, saying in a group unison, once more, just as creepy. See, Belle? We killed the person and the whole place that was getting away of our love. Please praise us all. Please. While they smiled with glee with their hands over their cheeks. Belle, not even relishing what the heck was going on, just screamed out, "Why would I do that? You're monsters, freaks, demons. I will never love you or be part of a familia ever with you. And I'm going to kill you right now." Just then, the hearts and the eyes turned completely pitch black. The system saying, yanderes are completely triggered by host. That the host is 100% certain. Looking at him, R is saying, "If we can't have you, no one can." With her rushing so fast, a speech Bell didn't even see before, and he couldn't even react as she pierced his heart, killing him. But as he was dying, Artemis looked up to the heavens, saying, "But I know the true reason our love was dying so easily. It is this rotten world, so I shall make it pay." As Artemis tapped into her arcanum even that was forbidden, making a giant bow of magic, and firing that single arrow at the world, with a group of girls cradling the near lifeless Belle, saying, "Don't worry, we'll be together in heaven, or wherever we end up," with them all giving deranged smiles, with everything finally going black. Finally, weirdly enough, a female voice saying, "Conditions met. System is now fully online and installed. Welcome, Master Bell. Now I shall explain what's happened to you, the reason I was made, and the reasons I was made. First, because every version of you dies in the future, because of that reason alone, it caused Artemis and the others around you to snap and eventually destroy the world in one shape or form. Especially like just what happened. So, in order to save the world, the other deities used all their power, even killing themselves, to make a system to help you survive and save the world from this catastrophe. So, Master Bell, do you have any questions so far? And he's like, "No, not really." "Good. I'll continue to explain then. And to make sure there was a sail face placed into the system, it's designed to make all the girls get along with each other. Since in one version, Artemis kills all the women around you. And that would increase the depth of the worlds by a huge amount. She did this multiple times too before your death in that world. But since you were her Belle, she always calmed down in your presence. So she never did kill them, but they did still try to kill each other. So part of this power is to make sure they will share you equally, so that will not happen. Okay, I will now go over what I have to help you. You first help you first. If you ask, I can give you opinions or lines in certain dialogue situations, so you can say more of a correct thing. Simply, a screen pop will pop up, and a line will be there for you to read. This is needed for your survival against these yanderes. Next is the Yandere Love Status Screen. Now, explaining what this does, its purpose is to show the percentage of their love. By the way, it always starts at 100%, but it can go to infinity. Once there, you have complete control over that yandere, so please try to push for infinity. The next part, any girl marked by the system and placed into it has a heart-shaped mark on either their neck or hand. This is to show they are yanderes and in the system, so that you can be safer around them. It is also designed to show their desire levels as well. So the pinker it gets, the higher their levels of desire, whether it be for killing, sexual, or other natures. Finally, well, not finally just yet, is my warning system. You've heard and seen it before. It shows up in the hearts for the person's eyes. They go from green to red and only go to black if the host has now doomed himself. So when in danger, the heart eyes are assigned to watch out for. Honestly, this should be the end I can give you, but I've already done so before. As you've noticed, I've granted you more powerful abilities, skills, other etc. for your survival already, as I had to make sure you kept staying alive. And you've used them quite well. I'm quite proud of that. I have to make sure the world does not end at any means cost, so that's my duty to you. That's all I know about my current system parameters. So I'll ask again. What are your questions, Master Bell? Well, thinking about it, and asked, "So are you alive?" The system answered, "Yes and no, in a sense." Bell said, "Okay, then I'm giving you the name Noir." System update. Now acknowledging the name Noir. Anytime you need me, I will be there. Just say Noir. Bell, so explain a bit more on why I was given the system noir. As I said before, since you need some clarification, it is because in every instance that you die, whether by your own hand or fate, Artemis or one of the girls end up destroying the world. Then sometimes the heavens, for without you, these Artemis or these girls have nothing more left to live in this world. Belle looked confused, then asked such a simple question. So why not just end me and prevent this? Laura answered back with, it is because you are needed existence to help the world. So even the deities cannot erase you, or the world would in turn erase the deities. So it's basically a catch-22. Belle nodded, then asked another one. So do I have to love them as women, or can I just make them my friends so I can survive? Laura responded with, you can. The affairs of your heart are not in my power to control. But to be honest, they are your only option for love partners, because if you try to love anyone else that's not in the system, you will die or that person will die. And I don't think you want to drag someone into that. Belle's sighing, thinking, yeah, I don't. Thinking of a good final question to ask. I get what this does, pretty much. But my question is highlighting the list of the women. Particularly, what is the subtype section of their names? Whenever I click Artemis, it says Artemis and subtype. Is this an error or something system? Nor answered it as no, it is not. They're another type other than a yandere. So for Artemis, she's a mother type. It is as it reads. For Harime, she's a maximum type. She likes pain as a form of pleasure. Aisha is a sadist type, meaning she likes to inflict pain for pleasure. This is so you can understand who they are and what they like, so you can make sure you say or do things that put you in a positive light for them. Does that help you understand what's going on? I responded, it does, so thank you. So my guess is I'm going back just before I blew up on Artemis, with Nora saying yes, you will. The restart will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And remember, you have no more restarts today. With that, Bell returns to the scene where he just was as they killed the girl and begged and asked to be praised in a sense. Bell this time swallowing everything he wanted to say, saying, to be honest, I don't know if I can praise you girls. After all, I really don't know anything about this world, sadly. With him crying some tears, and the loss of a dear friend to him, even if she was a little clingy. But he knew he had to pretend these tears were because he was confused. It's even alive right now that he has to even act this way. But he knows this is the right thing to do. They all come running up and hug Belle, telling him it's okay. It was the best thing ever. Because we'll be together forever and ever. Let's go to bed together, alright? After this, Belle woke up and walked out, with him finally getting to see the devastation they brought firsthand. To him, honestly, what they did sickened him to his core. But he knew he could not let it show out of fear of dying without his reset so far. It had been a few days since that incident. Ironically, they started to tend over every one of Belle's needs, no matter how minor or insignificant it was. And if Belle desired something, he got it, basically. Hell, even himself was trying not to like this. But after what he's lived through, it was very hard not to at least have some enjoyment with it. Sadly, he thought, finally reaching a weird landmass that was surrounded by mountains with various valleys with different types of environments in them. He saw deserts, snowy plains, that kind of stuff. The artist saying this is known as the world's end dungeon lands. Since very many powerful monsters, including one of them from that's been already slain by a world quest, actually spawned here. And normally, low-level adventurers would stay here, grind a bit, and go to the great city of Aurora. And also, the monsters generally leave the rest of the world alone. But to be honest, I want to build a power base before we go to Aurora, so that others won't try to take or harm my family, especially my Belle. Also, this is why we're based here, pretty much. And I'll be 100% honest with you, my little belly welly. I'm expecting you to train here, okay? Miss Belle smiled, saying, yes, goddess. They soon arrived to a small house in the center with a note on the door saying, "Me and my sister are heading out. We'll be back in a few days." With arms looking at saying, "Oh yeah, we have two other members here. They're level threes and at a such a young age, being 7 after all. Let's go get some dinner and rest." Okay? Bell ate and went to sleep as usual, but he's always sandwiched between the three of them. He's been trying to get out of it even during the trip, but they said we can all stay in the same place. Plus, it's more romantic that way. And to be honest, not wanting to die again, Bell just accepted it. He woke up pretty early the next morning, brushed his teeth, and used the bathroom. But Arya was supposed to realize he was up and quickly grabbed him and took her to her room, with her throwing Belle onto the bed. Her saying, "Now we're all alone." Such a beautiful sight. She starts to trace her finger up Belle's chest. But Belle asks, "What are we doing, goddess?" Feigning ignorance because he hopes it isn't what he thinks it is. She snapped out, saying, "Oh, it's time for the blessing," while having a very perfect smile on her. And the heart stamp he saw in her hand was the brightest shade of pink he had ever seen. Belle shuddered when he saw that. Some time later, Belle was finally blessed by Artemis, and she was in the most happy dazed state he's ever seen. With her repeating the words, "With this my beloved Belle has my blessing, is mine, all mine, all mine, all mine, all mine, all mine," as the hearts in Artemis' eyes were the brightest green he had seen since the start of this trip. After getting this, Belle read his own status sheet. Apparently, he had the ability called the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and the power to use Amaterasu. He could use this up to 3 times a day. The ability to see in the future for about 2 minutes once per day. Have battle foresight where he could see his opponents move before they even made it. He could only use that 3 times a day. He also had some weird power called Tsukiyomi. He could only use that once per day, and he could bend time, but it was only twice a day. And the rest of his abilities were in question marks. But towards the end, it said Ultimate Instinct. This allows you to fight based on pure instinct without need to think. It lasts for 5 minutes. And he read his own race. Saiyan? And yes, he has all the racial abilities from the anime manga. He quickly thanks Artemis for taking him in as she grabs him and hugs him tight, whispering in his ear, "Now I get to try to teach you how to kiss, if you want. And when you're adult, I'll let you do anything you want with me." As she blew into Belle's ear, causing him to shudder and blush a bit, though he didn't want to. He quickly bolted out of the room, with her quickly falling behind. To see the girls up and furious at Artemis for what she did. But then Belle asked, "To be honest, I know I shouldn't act this about a woman's age, but I'm 5 and I kind of want to know how old you are, Haruhime and Ashia." Again, I know it's rude to ask about age. Haruhime responded, "No, it's alright. We're in the same family now, okay? Ashia is 12 and I am 7. So how old are you?" With Belle saying 5, with all of them clicking their tongues. And you hear the words underneath the breath, "Damn it, we've got to wait 2 more years until he's considered adult for the funner stuff." With them hanging their heads down, Belle quickly just pats all their heads to make them happy, even getting told that he's got more bonus points and percentages for doing it. As we cut away to 2 Amazon sisters that were fighting a monster but were badly injured, saying, "Well, we're dead now." Okay, thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry for all the flubs and everything. It's just, I've had a long night from work, so I was trying my best with this. I hope you guys enjoy it. And finally, for those who listen to the end, well, what happens when a Belle masters a black dragon? Yes, I'm going to be doing a huge movie. I'm going to work my ass off for a whole month, people, and thank God I'm a 17 plus, so I can say a little bit of a curse word there. That I will do a huge movie of all 3 remaining parts, all in one go. I hope you guys will enjoy it. This is Real Garden, signing off.